Hello. Okay, so for example 4, using the quadratic formula, we are going to solve this equation. You are again able to use a calculator for this. Your quadratic formula you have to have memorized. So we have negative b, or the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. In this problem, we have a equals 1, b equals 4. Oh, wait, I forgot. Don't forget to check, does one side equal 0? This one it doesn't, so we have to get rid of this 7 over here. Then we can figure out a, b, and c. So we would have x squared plus 4x, and 11 minus 7 is going to be positive 4. Now we can find a, b, and c. So in this one, a equals 1, b equals 4, and c equals 4. So on the test, if you get a quadratic equation problem wrong, that is the first thing I would check to make sure one side equals 0. Okay. Once we have those, we're going to plug everything into the quadratic formula to figure out what our x values are. So when we substitute in all those values, because it starts with negative b, we're going to do the opposite sign of b. b was positive, so we'll make it negative 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which would be 4 in parentheses squared, minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a. Okay. Now, last year you were allowed in geometry to give decimal answers on some units. This year you have to give exact answers. So we are going to start, if you're using a calculator, we are going to start with only the discriminant, or the part underneath the discriminant. And again, that's also going to tell us how many solutions we should end up with once we get our answer. So on your calculator or by hand, oh, my calculator is frozen over there. That is not working. Oh, here we go. Okay, there it goes. Sorry about that. Okay, so on your calculator, you're only going to type in the discriminant part of our equation. And then we're going to figure out what that equals first. So for this one, your discriminant ends up equaling 0. So we would have negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 0 all over 2. Now, because your discriminant equaled 0, this tells us how many solutions and the type of solution. So that 0 tells us that we are going to have one real solution. The way we find that, we know that the square root of 0, or you should know the square root of 0 is 0. If you need to double check on your calculator, you could always do that. So we don't even need that 0 there. We're just left with negative 4 over 2. And that simplifies, don't forget to simplify, to negative 2. If you needed to do that on your calculator, don't forget the fraction bar is like division. So you would have negative 4 divided by 2, and that gives us negative 2. When you write your final answer, you should make sure to include the x. So you would have x equals negative 2, because that is what we are solving for. The x value when our quadratic equation equals 0.